1. The phone rang late at night, and Sam sat up with a jolt. It felt to him as though his life was going to change after he picked up the flashing piece of metal that was vibrating on the end table. He couldn't shake the feeling that whatever he was about to learn would have an impact on the rest of his life. Sam's hand shook slightly as he answered the phone. It was from a number he didn't recognize. "Hey, Sam speaking." His voice was gruff and hesitant. "Hey there, friend, long time no see. It's John Havisham here. Hope that the last party Joe had over at the cottage wasn't too boring?" Sam felt relief flood over him. John would call occasionally to catch up on local news, ask whether Patty's art gallery had any exceptional pieces of art for sale, and order a few kegs of beer to be shipped to his home in Halifax. 2. One day we were asked to write a whole composition about some birds in Gaelic. I knew I could do it easily in English, so it shouldn't be too difficult in Gaelic. The words came very easily, and although I wasn't sure I'd got all the past, present and future tenses perfectly correct, overall I decided I'd made a really good job of it. Sister Celilia then came towards me, and said, "Now, Kathleen O'Malley, let me see what you've done." She read my essay. I sat there patiently waiting for the praise I felt sure would be forthcoming. I did notice that her color was getting more and more ruddy, and suddenly she said, "Kathleen O'Malley, do you expect to pass?" Without hesitation, I replied, "Yes, sister." She then continued, "I've never read anything like this before." I realized she had been anything other than blown away by my Gaelic masterpiece. As a horrible sense of self-pity started slowly to descend on me, she went over to one of the girls and said, "Now I'm sure you've got a better composition." She read that girl's work and a big smile spread across her face. 3. Spring is in bloom and the park wears a new green coat. There are the tennis courts, a garden, and a small hill with an old house that used to be a manor and is now used for events, and a food stand selling ice cream and snacks to sticky-fingered children. 2 sets of train tracks loop around the park, the real one and the miniature one that is only for the summer and very small children. The sun is just starting to set, and while listening to the calming songs of the birds, Rosemary can see people enjoying the lengthening days. Runners make their way up the hill and down again. And on the edge of the park, closest to her balcony, a low red brick building wraps its arms around a perfect blue rectangle of water. A place to spend the day without disturbance. The pool is striped with ropes that split the lanes, and she can see bright towels on the deck chairs. Swimmers float in the water like petals. It is a place she knows well. It is the Lido, her Lido. 4. At my high school, 2 students were accepted to Tufts University. However, the editor of our newspaper, who had worked his whole high school career for a Tufts admission, was rejected. Upon hearing that news, I was overwhelmed with anxiety about my own chances of getting accepted. That morning, all I could think about was Tufts University. At about 10:30, an assistant from the front office came to get me out of math class and handed me a note to call home. I knew this was it. My heart pounded. My hands shook. I was short of breath. I had no right to expect a yes, but I wanted it more than anything in my life. I dialed our number. It rang twice. My mom picked up. Laughing with happiness, she said, "You got in. You got into Tufts." I jumped up and yelled, "Yes," attracting the attention of everyone in the front office. A thrill ran through me. It was a moment that I will never, ever forget.